That one person who knows and understands Mike for the rest of his life. That moment came for Mike when he met me. For those who don't know me, I've known Mike for 34 odd years now. And I knew on the first day of school, age 5, was the start of something very special. I went up to him and said, "Hello, my name is Ravi." He replied with saying, "Hello, chocolate boy." We accepted back then. But some of the earliest memories, age 5, was one of my friendships tests that he still bangs on about today. Basically, he was sitting next to me, 5 years old, and I asked him to hold out his hand. I then proceeded to use my new magnifying glass to burn a mark in the palm of his hand. He responded by screaming for the teacher, and I passed my friendship test. From that day forward, we've remained great chums. Our friendship over the years didn't register properly until obviously he asked me to be his best man. I was obviously overwhelmed and started to think about all the times that we spent together and stuff that we've got up to over the years. Some of my earliest and best memories was growing up with Mikey. We used to sit next together in school in English, French, history, Spanish classes, not maths because he was far dimmer than me. But I remember our French lessons with Mrs. Harris. And I've never seen a classroom erupt with laughter. Why, you say? Basically, whenever it went round the classroom for each pupil to read a few sentences from their French textbook out loud, it would get to Mike's turn to read it out, and Mike would just say, "No." Very calmly. And she'd start out calmly, but after about the 6th time of asking, she'd take off her National Health glasses and start screaming at him. Oh, it was only then that I realised that Mike was a one-off, a true original. Totally broke the mould from other kids. You just wouldn't get it from such an angel-faced little boy, stubborn and disrespectful authority. However, what he made up for on concentration in classes, he made up in other areas. Especially when it came to PE, physical education. I think I must have been about 8 or 9 when I first realised his twinkle toes playing football. I then realised what he lacked in intelligence, he made up for his genius on the pitch. I've never seen someone so young, so passionate about anything. Football and Spurs was his life. We were great friends, but very different. He was Spurs supporter, I was Liverpool. He was white, I was chocolate coloured. Mike was into blondes back then. I was into girls. And he was into Glenn Hoddle. For those who don't know Glenn Hoddle is, he's a Spurs legend back in the late 70s, 80s.
Legend.
I remember going around to his house and just seeing Glenn Hoddle everywhere. On his duvet covers, pillows, walls, mirrors, pencil cases, pants. I didn't think, what the hell is going on? So it was a bit weird, a bit odd, but luckily it was just a phase. A few years later, he moved on to Chris Waddle. Later in our teens though, he started fancying girls and left Hoddle and Waddle on the side. His difficult days though, we handled rejection well. I didn't get picked for the pretty team.
I'll top you up.
He didn't score, he scored on the pitch, but not with ladies and at school or college. One night I remember we were 16 and we headed out to a nightclub in Woking. Some of our mates looked older than us, had a bit of stubble, Mikey didn't, and one of our mates gave his membership card for the nightclub to him, so he'd get in. Yeah, basically the bouncer asked Mike for his membership card, to which Mikey shows it to him, and it's obviously not his card. And then the bouncer asked him to sign his name as well, so he can verify that it was Mike. Mike signs his actual name. We all get turfed out. What an idiot. Me and Mike used to hit the town every weekend back then. In his pea green pulling machine is Austin Allegro. Whenever I tried chatting up the ladies' though with Mikey in tow, it was just useless. Like having a trigger from Fools and Horses next to me. I dusted off from Rain Man, basically. Just like stand a bit behind me and then just like stare at the girls' breasticles and just dribble, and it was just like, we never got very far with the girls back then. And we ended up just playing cribbage and backgammon. Another incident in 1996. Joy, I hope you're listening to this. Mike was living back with his mum after uni in Nap Hill. And the morning after England go out of the European Cup in 1996, Mike has to catch the train to work the next morning. He's miserable and obviously pissed off because England are out. But, and forgets to buy a ticket. When he gets to the ticket collector and gets to the gate, the chap says, "Where's your ticket?" And Mike goes, "Sorry mate, I haven't got one." And he goes, "Why haven't you got one?" I don't care because England are out of the European Cup. And the ticket collector says, "I don't care, I'm Welsh, go and get one." And the most,
don't think that's funny.
Most normal people would then obviously pop over to the machine and get a ticket. No, not on Mikey. Mikey decides to run for the train. And what happens then is the Welshman grabs him, proceeds to call the police. Police come along. Not only does he get a £120 fine, but also a court summons.
He's pulling
You know now. But yeah, basically, because of this story and its hilarity, it got into the Woking News and Mail. Mike sweated for weeks about this, hoping that his mum would obviously pick up the
No, it's true.
Not exactly true.
Not on,
That version will do.
Me and Mike have travelled together to several countries worldwide, including New York, Thailand, Brazil and Sri Lanka. He's got to be one of the best guys to go on holiday with. Why? Because he's just amazed by everything. It's like taking a 5-year-old to Disneyland. The best was like when we were in Rio in Brazil on the beaches and he's just pointing at all the women in bikinis. Sri Lanka though, we headed out and ended up at a beach party and Mike gets chatting to a couple of ladies while I'm getting the beers in. I'm amazed because he hasn't chatted to a woman and got a response in years. Anyway, I get the beers in and walk back over, only then do I realise they're Polish, don't speak a word of English, but they love Mr Bean too, so totally understandable. But besides all the good times aboard together, we went our separate ways for a few years, me to Leicester and him to Derby. Me and Mike reunited in 2008. We were both single and he'd had enough of Derby and we decided to buy a flat together in Brighton with 2 bedrooms. I think I convinced Mike to move down by saying there are lots of gay men in Brighton. So we'd be on a winner because obviously there's more women to straight men. Made no difference. But it was like back like old times, pubbing it and clubbing it in Brighton. We also play a lot of sports together. We're very competitive, me and Mikey, and I've got to say, I have seen him lose it, properly lose it, thousands of times. Think John McEnroe, yeah?
So have I.
One time I saw him playing golf for the first time, and during the first hole, he slammed his club on the ground and started walking back to the clubhouse after his first stroke. I've even seen him lose it skiing on the second day, stuck under the tree, on his arse, with his legs in the air, shouting obscenities. But the only sport that he's got the right temperament for these days is crown green bowls, which I believe he used to play very well back in that Hill.
Not crown green, flat green.
Flat green, sorry.
Get it right. Know your bowls, come on.
We also play five-a-side every Monday night at Brighton 2. Quite a few of the boys are here today. And they'll back me up also when it comes to saying that Mike is a Jekyll and Hyde on the footy pitch. Turns up and he's lovely and placid, totally relaxed. As soon as you start going, he turns into a Tourette's, swearing, obscene.
That's my boy!
One time when we were living together, he had a bad game of footy on the Monday evening, been swearing like a trooper all game. And come back home and Spurs were meant to be playing live on the TV. Oh no, they weren't. Our skybox was down. And Mike proceeded to pick up the phone straight away and start shouting obscenities down the phone again at the poor Sky bloke. And I'm sure Sky used that as a staff training exercise. Anyway, a few months more passed and Mike realised he needed to get out there. And at last his braces on his teeth came off. Which apparently was the cause that he had found a girl for the last few years. So he decided to take the plunge and sign up to a dating site called Match.com. There he found his true love, Anna, formerly Bolwell of course. I knew he was very smitten as he talked very highly of her and a few of her assets. And eventually I only knew it was true love after a few dates though, with one Sunday morning when we lived together. I got up and Mike was already up, in the lounge watching Match of the Day recorded from the night before. He seemed different, coy but confident with the prospect of his date that night. I then popped into the bathroom to have a shower and I then noticed something on the side of the bathtub. And it wasn't a bar soap. I inspected it a bit more closely and then I realised what he'd been doing. He'd been pruning his nether region hair. Since this episode, their relationship has blossomed. And it's not difficult to see why. They complement each other perfectly. Anna is a domestic goddess, Mike can't cook. People laugh with Anna, people laugh at Mike. Mike looks good in a pair of shorts, but Anna definitely wears the trousers. Joking aside though, Mike, I've got to hand it to you, buddy. You are 1 in a million, pal. You've always been there for me, bro, and hopefully I've been there for you too. We have been like brothers over the last 34 years, and you are a truly amazing friend. And that's echoed by the fact that 14 blokes who are here today all flew out to Malaga for the stag and witnessed you in a mankini. Come and see me if you want the photos website later. But yeah, Anna, a massive thank you for making him so happy. You both made the most amazing couple. Anna, take with you my best mate, look after him for me. Do loan him back to me sometimes. And I look forward to sharing him in the future. Anna and Mike are the glue that brings us all together. I'd like to end by saying how honoured I am to be sitting at the top table and being Mike's best man today, as you both are very special to me, and I wish you every happiness for the future. Lastly, as you all know, Hoolie is the Irish slang for a celebration or a party. So without further delay, I'd like you all to charge your glasses and please give it up to Mr. and Mrs. Hoolie.
Cheers, Paulie.
Cheers, 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 cheers.
I've got an empty glass. Cheers, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, Mikey.
Beautiful, mate. Oh my god. Cheers. Cheers, Sam.
Cheers, love.
Let's go with it. Cheers. It's really good. Cheers.